Germans mocked it. A wooden plane? They laughed at the specs. But then something impossible happened. The Mosquito didn't just fly, it left their best jets in the dust. Their advanced fighters couldn't catch it. The aircraft the Reich dismissed as a joke became their nightmare. How did a wooden bomber outrun German jets? What made this aircraft so impossibly fast? And why did the Nazis' greatest minds completely miscalculate what they were facing? The answer changed everything about air warfare. The mockery begins. The Germans had no idea what was coming. Berlin, 1940. German generals sat in their war rooms looking at intelligence reports. They laughed, out loud. Why? Britain was building a fighter plane entirely from wood. Wood, not metal like every serious warplane, not steel, not aluminum, just wood and fabric held together. The Nazis thought the British had lost their minds. Their engineers shook their heads. "This is impossible," they said. "A wooden aircraft can't compete with our Messerschmitts." German commanders made jokes about it. They bet it would fall apart in the sky. They truly believed Britain was wasting time and resources on a ridiculous project. Little did they know, this wooden plane would become the fastest aircraft in the entire war. But how? That's the question everyone was asking. Wood was the secret. The British had figured out something the Germans completely missed. Here's where it gets wild. The British didn't choose wood by accident. They had a brilliant reason. See, metal was scarce during wartime. Britain needed every scrap of aluminum for other planes and weapons. So the RAF's chief designer, Geoffrey de Havilland, thought differently. He realized wood was actually lighter and stronger than people thought. And here's the kicker. Wood doesn't show up on radar the same way metal does. That meant the Mosquito could slip past German detection systems more easily. The aircraft was also cheaper and faster to build. No fancy metalwork required, just skilled craftsmen, glue, and plywood. While German engineers were obsessed with heavy, powerful machines, the British went lean and mean. They built something that could dance through the sky. The Germans didn't understand this strategy. They still believed bigger and heavier meant better. The design nobody expected. This design choice would haunt German pilots for years. The Mosquito looked nothing like a traditional warplane. 2 engines, sleek body, minimal weapons. Most military experts thought it was underpowered and weird. But Geoffrey de Havilland knew something others didn't. Speed could be a weapon all by itself. He designed every part to be aerodynamic. Every curve, every edge, every surface was shaped to cut through air like a knife. The wings were smooth and thin. The fuselage was streamlined. There was no wasted space, no extra weight, nothing hanging off the body creating drag. German designers were building heavy bombers with tons of armor and guns. They believed firepower meant survival. But the Mosquito proved them wrong. This aircraft would prove that speed and agility could beat armor and firepower every single time. The question nobody could answer was just how fast would it actually go? The first shock. German pilots couldn't believe what they were seeing in the sky. Then came the moment of truth. The Mosquito first flew in combat in 1941. German pilots were patrolling. They spotted something on the horizon. At first, they didn't take it seriously. A wooden plane, easy target. But then something strange happened. The Mosquito was getting away. Faster and faster. The German pilots pushed their engines to maximum. Their Messerschmitts, the pride of the Luftwaffe, couldn't catch it. They tried climbing. The Mosquito climbed higher. They tried diving. It dove faster. The wooden aircraft was simply faster. German pilots radioed back to base in confusion and frustration. "We can't catch it," they reported. Command didn't believe them at first. "You must have been mistaken," officers said. But more encounters confirmed the truth. The aircraft everyone had laughed at was untouchable. It was humiliating. German commanders faced a problem they didn't see coming. How do you fight an enemy you can't catch? The numbers tell the story. These numbers shocked even the British engineers. Let's talk pure speed. The Mosquito could hit speeds of 415 miles per hour. That was faster than most German fighters of the time. But here's what made it crazier. It was built from wood. A German Messerschmitt 109 could do about 390 miles per hour. The Focke-Wulf could reach 400. Both were metal machines with powerful engines, yet the wooden plane beat them both. And the Mosquito could climb incredibly fast, too. It could reach high altitudes where German interceptors struggled. It had range. It could fly farther than most fighters. It was also agile. Pilots could twist and turn it faster than heavier aircraft. Most importantly, it could carry bombs while being this fast. Most fighters had to choose, be fast or carry weapons. The Mosquito did both. German military leaders looked at these numbers and realized they had made a huge mistake. They had completely underestimated British ingenuity. But the real shock was still coming. The embarrassment grows. The German propaganda machine had a serious problem on their hands. The German military had a crisis. They'd publicly mocked this wooden aircraft. Officers had laughed about it in newspapers. Magazines printed stories about how inferior British engineering was. Then the Mosquito started making fools of them. Raid after raid, the wooden plane completed its missions. German fighters launched hundreds of attacks. Almost none succeeded. The Mosquito always escaped. It flew low under radar. It flew high above interception. It was too fast to catch, too agile to predict. British pilots loved it. They nicknamed it the Wooden Wonder. Every successful mission was another embarrassment for Nazi Germany. The propaganda ministry tried to spin it. They claimed wooden aircraft were inferior designs. They said only desperate nations use such materials. But the results spoke louder than words. The Mosquito wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. It was dominating the skies over Europe. German commanders had to admit the truth. Britain had outsmarted them. And the Mosquito kept setting new records and achievements. What would happen next shocked everyone. The turning point. This moment changed air warfare forever. By 1943, the Mosquito wasn't just a fighter. It became a symbol. A symbol that speed and intelligence beat brute force. German engineers finally understood. They stopped building super heavy fighters. They began focusing on speed and maneuverability. But they were always one step behind. The British kept improving the Mosquito. They added new engines, better weapons, stronger structures. Each new version was faster than the last. The Messerschmitt jets, Germany's last hope, were incredibly advanced, but they were also complex and unreliable. The Mosquito? Simple, effective, built to last. During raids over Germany, the Mosquito became untouchable. It flew escort missions. It carried bombs. It gathered intelligence. No German fighter could match it consistently. Pilots on both sides knew the truth. The wooden aircraft was superior. German morale dropped. British confidence soared. The war in the air had fundamentally shifted. Germany's best weapons couldn't answer the Mosquito's speed and capability. This wooden plane had done the impossible. It changed everything about how nations built military aircraft. The legacy nobody forgot. This aircraft's influence is still felt today. The Mosquito flew over 7,000 missions during World War II. It never had a major design flaw. It survived longer than most aircraft. After the war ended, military leaders around the world studied it. They realized something profound. You didn't need tons of armor to win. You didn't need massive firepower on every plane. Speed, agility, and smart design mattered more. nations started building sleeker, faster aircraft. The jet age that followed was directly influenced by lessons learned from the Mosquito. Modern stealth aircraft use similar principles. They're light, they're fast, they avoid detection. All ideas that trace back to a wooden plane that German generals mocked. The aircraft that everyone said was impossible became one of the greatest fighter bombers ever built. Today, aviation historians call it revolutionary. It proved that sometimes the greatest innovations come from limitations and clever thinking. The Mosquito showed that you can beat an enemy with superior numbers and power if you're willing to think differently. That's a lesson that extends far beyond just warfare. It's about innovation itself. German officers laughed at wooden aircraft, but the British Mosquito wooden aircraft World War II proved them catastrophically wrong. This Mosquito bomber outran German jets with stunning speed and agility. De Havilland Mosquito wooden wonder became the RAF's most lethal asset. The Mosquito World War II high-speed bomber completed thousands of precision raids untouched. This Mosquito aircraft fast wooden plane dominated skies where metal fighters failed. RAF Mosquito Operations WWII demonstrated revolutionary innovation through simplicity. Mosquito bomber precision raids devastated German targets with surgical accuracy. Allied wooden decoy aircraft history often overlooks this truth. WWII wooden planes versus jets proved that intelligence beats firepower. The Mosquito's legacy transformed military aviation forever.